So it sounds like you've got a project past this theatrical piece that you've been talking about for Broadway.
Yeah.
But can you tell me anything about the theatrical piece?
Yeah, I can. Well, I'm working on 2 or 3, so there's an element of confusion out there. The one that is most important is one about it's called Floss, is working title. The female heroine is Florence, and she's there is a toothy connection because she has a Keith Moon diamond in her tooth, but she's actually an equestrian. She meets this young musician who is abandoned by his Irish wife because he sells a song to a car company, and he's a pub rocker. She thinks he's giving away his talent, and he kind of goes into stasis. She rides horses, and he after 15 years of hanging out and working in a garden, he's bullied by a number of people around him into going back and revisiting his work. This is not exactly what happened to me, but there are similarities, and he starts to write music, and what he hears, he suddenly realises he's got very little to do with him, but he realises that what he can hear is a reflection of the anxiety that is around him in the middle class community in which he lives, which is a fear for the children of the future. That's the kind of the thesis of it. So he hears this extraordinary music, and so I'm writing songs from his younger days when he's a pub rock musician, and this is hopefully in the tradition of Johnny Kidd and the Pirates and Ian Drury and Dr. Feelgood, that kind of really straightforward pub rock stuff, and then incidental music, which is about his relationship with his wife, who's Irish and wants him to be a poet, and all of those songs are written in sonnet form, and new songs and music based on his love affair with this wonderful, vibrant young wife, Florence, who is a horse rider, and it ends, and he meets this older guy, and I won't give the ending away, but the ending is really a study of it's the first proper love story that I've ever written. The young couple eventually split up briefly. They're brought together in a scene in a hospital where there's quite a dark scenario goes on, and then there's a concert at the end, and people hear his music, and it doesn't go down quite as anybody would imagine, but it's really, I think as an artist and a writer, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, and I'm obviously not the first person to work in soundscapes. Lou Reed's doing it right now, and Laurie Anderson has been doing it for years, and so have lots of other people, but there are soundscapes in this piece which I'm trying to actually realise using narrative, description, music and music concrete, what he hears in between the songs, so you actually get this cinematic sense of the anxiety that I think all of us are starting to feel about, we're the boomers, what did we do wrong, the world. I don't think that's true, personally, but this is what I'm trying to reflect.
It's out of control, I think, is the way it feels to people around me.
I think it's the way it feels, whether it is out of control and whether we are actually past a point where we can do anything. And I'm not talking about necessarily about global warming. I'm talking about all kinds of things. I'm talking about religious dissolution and aimlessness, and the problems in the community. I'm talking about societal vigilantism and all kinds of things. So these are all things that come in. I'm finding it so great to work on because it covers just about every area.
So you're still writing?
I'm still writing. Yeah, I've written the play, and a writer called Nigel Williams has read it, and Kate Rowland, who was the producer of the Lifehouse play for Radio 3, she's had a look at it. She's suggested some cuts and some of the dialogue, but they like it. I've written a lot of music already, a lot of the songs, and I've also been writing in a slightly different way than normal. I'm writing on this is my Pat Metheny moment. I'm writing a lot of music on a Yamaha Disclavier piano, where what you actually do is you get a thought into your head and you bang away at the piano, and then you can play it back. And and it's a robotic piano, really. They normally have them in bars to play themselves, and they're, you know. Normally what happens when I write on the piano, and some of my piano playing has been, you know, immortalised. I played the piano on Love Rain on Me, and beautifully, and but I really kind of aspire to stretch out more, and so what this actually allows me to do is to think, you know, I can really, really stretch out, and then I can listen back to it, and I actually have a piano in the room. I can walk around singing, I can play guitar with it. It feels real and live.